You get the invite sent?
I got the invite sent to her.
Let's open the meeting of March 5th, 2024. With the flag salute.
We need to get a flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming and taking the time out to be here tonight. We'll start tonight's meeting with a roll call.
Here. Dr. Crude.
Here.
Mrs. Crude. Here. Mrs. Krimenacher.
Here.
Yeah.
Krimenacher.
Here.
Mrs. Lee. Here. Mr. Shell. Mr. Basil.
Here.
Ms. Sinchar.
Here.
Okay, guests and patrons, are there any that signed up tonight?
Yes.
Our guests and patrons, as according to our current policy, we just keep you to 5 minutes. Please state your name and your address. Okay. Looks like Mark Stoltz is first.
Thank you. This is to this Northern Cambria School Board. I would like to offer some volunteer help with the improvement of the area at the end of the football field where there's gravel. I was there for a game. They invited us to come and take the flag. And these little kids are running. If they fall, they see the big kids run, they fall, they're going to get hurt. So I have a sample of what we could replace it with. And I suggest removing the 3/4 inch existing stone in front of the field house and replace it with limestone screening. And this will be safety for the students and fans walking across the area. I'm an experienced equipment operator in the district and would volunteer my services, and I have helped other volunteers that will help us, a lot of handwork, you know. And the estimated cost, 20 ton, I'm just guessing, it would be like $1,000, but I'll go to the local VFW, the American Legion, get you reimbursed.
Wow.
So if you give this
Thank you.
consent,
That's very
that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
We'll definitely take them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, next would be Sky Bernecki.
Hi, I'm Sky Bernecki and I am a senior on the Northern Cambria softball team. I'm here to tell you why I think playing on the South Complex softball fields will be beneficial for the female athletes. Title IX and athletic opportunities in K through 12 schools. It clearly states, in quotes, are conditions of playing fields, courts, pools, and other practice game facilities for boys and girls teams equivalent. For example, quality, maintenance, access to restrooms, availability of spectator seating, scoreboards, lighting, and other amenities. The conditions of the playing field are not equivalent. For one, there's hardly any maintenance. It feels like the softball team is a huge inconvenience for the school when all we want to do is to be able to play softball on a field where we don't have to worry about getting hurt. When I asked the outfitters how the grass they play on is, they said there are big enough holes to hurt yourself and it's a complete swamp. Pitchers from previous years have said that the pitcher's mound was either rock solid or a complete puddle. There are huge rocks and pebbles all over the infield. When sliding into a base, it hurts more than any other field I've ever played on. At the South Complex softball fields, there are actual restrooms. There are also batting cages, pitching areas, and space for us to warm up. We would be lucky to even have a porta pot at the middle school field. Last season for our first game, there was nothing. No porta pot. Spectators from the other team were shocked and left complaining to our own fans. We also do not have a safe place for our on-deck batters. We have to stand outside our dugout on a hillside. As we all know, there's no dugout for the away team. Northern Canberra is the only school I know of where there's only a dugout for the home team. Last season, the opposing team was stuck in pouring rain with nowhere to go. Watching them sit there huddled together on a metal bench, shivering with their heads up was so embarrassing. Not just for me, but for the Northern Canberra School District. I wanted to apologize to their team and coaches for an issue I have no control over. Although I graduate in 2 months, I feel bad for these younger girls who have no idea what their softball seasons will look like, or if they will have another season, considering how much of a hassle it seems to be. I have a younger sister who's 13 years old, and I just wish for her sake and for the rest of the kids that the adults of this school district will get things straight and will keep in mind we should be doing this for the best interests of the Northern Canberra female athletes.
Okay, Riley, go ahead. Riley Stein.
My name is Riley Stein, a senior and pitcher on the Northern Cambria softball team. I would like to first thank you all for your time today and your consideration on our topic. It will be highly appreciated. I have been playing softball for many years, whether that be on the varsity team, travel team, or summer ball. I have played on various fields in different states. Every field I have ever played on has had a batting cage and safe areas for our pitchers to warm up. Our field at Northern Cambria Middle School does not have a batting cage or a place for our pitchers to warm up. We usually warm up behind the dugouts, which is on a hill, and the whole time we are warming up, we have to worry about fighting off foul balls from the other team while they are hitting. Secondly, if we were to play at the South Complex, we would have a concession stand. Our boosters and parents would be able to raise more money for us and our team. When our new coach, Candy, took over as head coach, she was left with barely any money in our softball account. She had to work very hard to raise money for us. This would take some stress off of us and our coaches. Our first day of mandatory practice was yesterday, which was the first day we were able to go outside due to weather. While having balls hit at us, we were all trying to call the ball. There was very loud construction going on. The contractors aren't even close to being done with the building process, and this will continue throughout our whole season. I am fearful that this would cause an injury. If a girl would call for a ball and someone not hear it, this could cause a collision. Also, there are so many situations that a spectator isn't paying attention and they are saved by someone yelling something like, "Look out." How is someone going to hear and know to get out of the way of a ball in enough time? How about when our pitchers are warming up, not in a bullpen or safe area, and a foul ball gets hit their way? Will they or I hear in enough time to get out of the way? I would just hate to see someone get seriously injured due to something that is avoidable. These are all issues that the Northern Cambria baseball team does not have to deal with. From what I understand, in Title IX, it states that under locker rooms, fields, courts, or other facilities for practice that are the conditions of playing fields, courts, pools, and other practice or game facilities for the boys and girls equivalent. I don't believe that they are. We have 8 days until our first scrimmage, and we have to worry if our field will even be ready for our first game or not. We don't know what field we're even playing on or what times we're going to be practicing. These are things that us students and coaches should not have to worry about. We should just be worrying about having the best team we can possibly have. I feel as though we are at a disadvantage to all the other teams that we are playing, not having the same means to practice and warm up safely and efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you.
April Fry.
Hello, I'm here to talk about buildings and grounds for a second and the softball field. So I'll start with buildings and grounds.
Where are you from, April?
Oh, I'm sorry, it was written down there. I didn't hear the rest of the other ladies where they were from.
There.
125 Anderson Drive, Cherry Tree. Buildings and grounds, I just wondered if during SiteLogic's update, if we could have an update if we are on schedule with the building project. Rumors, and they are rumors, have been going around that change orders are holding things up a lot. So I just want to know if it's just a little bit, if it's enough that it's running things off schedule. Obviously, we don't want to incur any costs for letting this project go on any longer than was originally determined. The second thing is, as most of you know, our boys are playing in the first round of state playoffs, and we cannot hold or host our own playoff game because our gymnasium is not big enough. So we're thankful that Cambria Heights is hosting that game for us. But something we need to consider is we don't have to worry about that once this gym is done, because the new gym will be able to hold the amount of spectators that are needed to host a home state playoff game. Secondly, Sky and Riley had already gone over a lot of the Title IX issues, and I have a copy here from the U.S. Department of Education. And they're completely right that the same facilities need to be for the boys and girls. And to be honest with you, man, I wish I would have thought about this right before I got off the board, because I would have voted to change it at that point instead of having to go through this. But since the last meeting, it got shut down, I filed a formal complaint, a Title IX complaint with the Office of Civil Rights on the 29th of February. And I was notified today by OCR that they have received it, and they will make a decision to me in 30 days. So upon that information, they will be investigating my complaint if it's something that they can look into, if it's something that they have, if it's a reason that falls under Title IX for them to investigate. But on the good part of that, reasons that complaints could be dismissed, the allegations raised by the complainant have been resolved and are therefore no longer appropriate for investigation. So if the reasons that I listed, which are unequal playing fields, are resolved before the time that OCR comes in and determines one way or the other if it's a valid complaint or not, it's kind of null and void. In my complaint, it clearly asked what I hope to come out of this, and all I said was the girls just need to have the same playing facilities. Thank you.
Okay, Diane Wexmonski.
Okay, I'm Diane Wexmonski. I live in Susquehanna Township. I've been here before, and my complete address is on the paper. I am here to talk about Arium. It is a nonprofit organization dedicated to foster excellence in aviation education. It is hosting its second annual Arium Summit on Tuesday, May 28th through Thursday, May 30th. It will be held at the John Murtha, Cambria County Airport. This year's event promises to be even bigger and better. By seizing the resources offered by a partnership with the schools, we can enable that the students will receive the right training, setting them on a path to become highly qualified candidates ready to meet the evolving needs of the aviation sector. I'm not going to read the rest. I'm passing a handout around that talks about what Arium has done in review. Arium is taking reservations right now. I know Principal Freebish knows about this because she had someone talk to the kids. This is not for everyone. These are good job-sustaining opportunities for our students through the Johnstown Airport. Registration for a education government nonprofit attendee, of which that was me, was $112.17 to attend the two-day summit. With the thing that all this agenda is packed with people wanting to do things, and $112.17 is over the $100 cap from 1949. This has to be on the agenda next month. I mean, I would just love if our students attended. I was there last year and 2 schools attended from Johnstown. One was brought by a teacher and one group was brought by their superintendent. Students are free to attend. Talking to Mary Bethia today, I'm going to participate with Arium to inform schools in my area. So I will be reaching out to Superintendent Basonic and to high school principal to talk about why I'm so passionate about someone attending. At the presentation at the high school, what was so interesting is that after the presentation on Arium, there was a group of 9 that wouldn't let the speaker take a break. And those are the 9 that need to go. And I don't know who they are. Those are the 9 that need to go to this thing at the Johnstown Airport. Johnstown Airport is the thing in Cambria County that is doing something positive, and it's exciting. When you go, you get enthralled. Just FYI, $100 in 1949 is $1,272 according to Google. The Arium group, I was told the Arium group would never get this all in place. They have 6 CIPs in place under the industrial friendly codes, of which the VOTEC and or high schools can offer classes to their students on site. So they got it through the Department of Education ASAP. Moving along to the whole idea, I see in the agenda, there's 2 last things. I see in the agenda, supermajority is there twice. Again, I have my handouts if anyone would like an explanation of what supermajority does and how it can cripple the process. Looking at the agenda tonight already, I see how that $100 1949 has impacted the agenda greatly. I was going to talk about Title IX. You know, Title IX's been around since June 23rd, 1972. We got 52 years under our belt. And I think this is the first time we've had a violation filed with the civil rights group. Listening to these gals, they could defend it.
30 seconds.
Okie dokie. And that's it. I was done. Thank you very much.
Okay, Julie Foreman.
So I am a parent to a recent graduate from here that played softball, and my youngest daughter is in 9th grade, and we reside on number 9 Road in Hastings. So according to the FHS softball rules book for 2024, the comfort and protection of players and spectators is very important to high school sports. When looking at the field located outside the school, many may not have concerns about the field. So after hearing about concerns, I started to focus and truly look at the field. In doing so, and then started to notice things that are present, safety concerns for the players and the spectators. I would assume that PIAA has rules for the pitching mound, for his sunken in, and the bases on the field appear to be illegal. They are held in with pieces of metal. They are not the type of bases that pop out as safety features for a player sliding into the base. Then the fencing is being held up by a metal rebar, which is obviously a danger. Then looking around, where are the areas that are designated to protect the players, such as the on-deck warming up area for the batters, a place for pitchers and catchers to warm up, without the risk of hitting other players or spectators or moving balls down over the hill. Then there are wide open areas from the field to each team's area. Fences should be there to protect the players from the balls while games are being played, keeping the balls in play so catchers have a better chance at the ball and to eliminate the 2 bases on an overthrow. What about having 2 dugout areas? There's only 1 for the home team. How does that show respect for the other team? At the beginning of sporting events in the gym, the school announces the expectations for the players and spectators to follow the rules and respect the players. This isn't being done. You as a school are violating this, not having a dugout for the visiting team. Furthermore, talking about violations, I'm sure ADA, the American Disability Act, would agree that there are violations under their area of concern. I realize that some may not think about this, or some may say spectators don't come in wheelchairs or have assistance devices. So you still have to be able to accommodate those. How easy is it to get a wheelchair up to the playing area? Can a person with a disability use the restroom, or should I say the porta potty? In recent years, the swimming pool had to be updated to meet ADA guidelines. Currently, the high school gym bleachers are being looked into for the same reason. Do we need the same individuals who are investigating those areas come look at the softball field? Maybe we should. Maybe we do need that to happen. Or maybe the Title IX coordinator should. The Title IX is the civil rights law that prohibits schools from discriminating based on sex.
in the programs or activities at the school. I think the coordinator would look at the field and see a big difference compared to the baseball field. Nothing against the boys. The fields are not equivalent. The boys field is better quality, has better maintenance, access to bathrooms, better seating for the spectators and for the teams. There are dugouts for both teams, access to scoreboards, a concession stand, and lights if needed. The noise factor will also be a hindrance to the softball team. Like Sky said, the official season just started yesterday, and the noise is already affecting the ability to coach and interact with the players. Well, players can't hear the coach yelling out instructions. How's the umpire going to hear? How is that safe to hear for what's going on with the sporting events? Also, how will I, as a dedicated parent, be able to enjoy, along with the other fans, to enjoy the greatest entertainment of all, we say, is high school athletics? Seems to be clear that the boys' amenities outweigh what is available for the girls' softball team. This could be rectified by allowing the softball team to play the field behind Bilo where the boys are playing. As for the fee, $1,333 for the season. This is less than what was just approved at the last board meeting. The boys' fee was more, and there were no issues accepting the rec's contract to keep the boys playing there. Again, I look at the equality and I have an issue. Seems that the softball team is being left out in an unsafe field.
30 seconds, Julie.
I suggest that the board reassess the situation, keep the safety of our athletes at the primary concern, and to vote to have the girls play in a safer environment. And if there are any hidden agendas, put that behind us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Tara Pardee.
Hello, I'm Tara Party. I live in Level Avenue in Northern Cambria. I'm speaking to you tonight as a member of the Northern Cambria Ladies Softball Boosters, a member of the community, but also as a concerned parent of students who attend school here and play softball on the practice field at our school grounds. I would like to state that I'm not here to contest Dr. Krug's reasons for creating the softball field at our school. It was the best decision for our girls at the time, and we appreciated it. However, I'm here tonight to inform the school board and the public about some concerns that have been raised since the creation of the field. At last month's school board meeting, the school board voted and allowed a contract that was obtained through the Northern Cambria Rec Committee for the boys baseball team to play games on their fields at the South Complex for $2,767. That allowed the baseball team to have access to the fields, which would be maintained by the rec committee. Wheelchair accessible bathrooms, running water, equal dugouts for each team. She's got stand items for their boosters to raise money for the team and so on. However, the girls softball team was not allowed the same opportunity and resources for an additional $1,333. As Julie said previously, Title IX students and athletes protects the students and athletes against discrimination. I'm not saying that discrimination is intentional, but if the softball team was denied equal access due to a money-related issue, then would they be allowed to use the rec facilities if a private donor wanted to pay for the fee, or would that be shut down too? First and foremost, I'm concerned about the safety of our girls. The 2024 PIAA softball regulations, Rule 1, Article 10 states that, quote, the following factors should be fully studied and applied. Protection for contestants, batter, catcher, pitcher, and other in that order. Comfort and safety for spectators, prevailing winds, background obstacles or barriers, and so on. Protection for contestants, that's one of the main issues here. Currently, we don't have safe areas for our pitchers to warm up. When they practice, they have to throw towards the dugout and risk the chance of injuring another player or even a spectator. Not to mention that we don't have warm-up areas for batters either. Hopefully everyone wears helmets. I'm sure you heard about this from some of the other speakers tonight. If you look at the pictures, which I'm passing around from Ms. Sedlock, I've provided, you can see that the pitcher's mount is completely washed out. It will need proper plate products and techniques that our maintenance workers here at the school would have to maintain, taking hours away from other important jobs that need done. Additionally, PIAA Section 2, Article 1 states, first, second, and third base should be white bags made of canvas filled with soft material, molded rubber or synthetic material, and should be securely attached to the ground or an anchor system.
Bases should be 15 inches square, 2 to 5 inches thick, may have tapered edges, and should be designed to disengage from their anchor system. Quote, most of the bases are missing, but the bases and the poles that are currently in place have about a 2 by 2 inch hollow metal post secured into the ground, and the actual bases, which are not there anymore, have metal posts that slide into the metal hole in the ground. This is not safe when the girls slide into bases because they do not move. They can break ankles, and as one of the players said, feel like you're sliding into a brick wall. To replace the bases alone, it would be $1,000. The background and obstacles or barriers, which I mentioned before in the Title IX, including that includes the outfield fencing. Proper outfield fencing is supposed to be well above 3 or 4 feet. In previous years, the plastic fence at our school was secured in the outfield by fiberglass rods. When the rods would break due to the wind or even a player trying to catch a pop-up, then fiberglass poles were replaced with the rebar. I don't even want to imagine what kind of damage rebar could do to a teenage girl diving for a pop-up. I can't even imagine. I clearly only focused on a few things, but a list of 15 reasons why we should play at the South Complex was emailed to members of the school board before last month's meeting. I would like to read those at this time if I had time, but I'm sure that I'm close to my 5-minute limit. Our girls have been using the field here for the last few years, and luckily they have not sustained any major injuries. However, it's just a matter of time before something happens if they continue to use the field the way it is. With all the improvements that need to be made to the practice field on the school grounds and to adhere to all the state guidelines suggested by PIAA and Title IX, the cost would be well above $2,000.
20 seconds there.
I think it would be in our child's best interest to obtain a contract with the Northern Cambria Rec Committee to allow our girls softball teams to practice and play games on their fields at the South Complex. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. And Megan. I'm sorry, Megan Levy.
Hello, my name's Megan. I'm a member of the Northern Cambria High School varsity softball team. We are here to voice our concerns about the current softball field situation. As of right now, we are scheduled to play on the middle school softball field. We as a team are concerned about the safety, the cost, and Title IX issues. We as a team have met and discussed reasons as to why we should prefer to play at the South Complex. These reasons include: 1. The school's budget for the 23 to 24 school year is estimated around $20 million. Playing at Spangler would be less than 1% of the school's budget. 2. Title IX. Title IX refers to Title IX of the Education Amendment of 1972, a federal civil rights law in the United States. It prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in any educational program or activity that receives federal funding. This includes schools, colleges, and universities. Title IX covers various aspects of education, including admissions, athletics, employment, and sexual harassment. It aims to ensure equal opportunities for all students regardless of gender and to promote gender equality in education. The boys are allowed to play at the South Complex, however, we are not. 3. Restrooms. Schools must rent portable rooms for $200 a month. The rec has a bathroom that is maintained. 4. No safe. Adequate space for pitchers to warm up. Currently, they pitch near or towards spectators, fans, with nothing protecting them. Balls often roll down onto the road, creating a safety hazard. At the rec, they have designed areas for this. Number 5, pitching mound and bases. The pitching mounds shows washout from having to be put back into the ground over the summer. And the pegs for the bases become rusted, and therefore the bases could not be removed without taking out the entire peg. They will need to be replaced. Need to purchase pop-out bases cost $1,000 with a double first. No safe on deck circle. At the rec field, there is a fenced-in area that the on-deck batter will stand before they go into the batter's box. Number 6. Visitor dugout is gone and not an ideal situation to show respect for the other teams and for their safety. We would not want to travel to another game and sit out in the weather, and we shouldn't have to ask for a permit to either. Thank you for listening to our current concerns. We understand that some of you of the board members didn't attend Northern Cambria High School, therefore they may not fully understand our position. However, we hope that you will consider our grievance since we are playing on the fields. We have great pride in our team. We know that all the decisions made by the board are student concerned. We know your decisions are made with the best intentions. We greatly hope you take everything said into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, we'll go into the administrative report. Superintendent.
You can start with the principals tonight.
Let's start with elementary.
I'd like to announce the February students of the month. Kindergarten, Maddie Bursky. First grade, Brenda Campbell. Second grade, Dallas Banana. Third grade, Glenn Sprosky. And fourth grade, Devin Irving. Congratulations to them. I'd also like to let you know that March is Music in Our Schools Month. In the hallway outside Miss Patterson's room, which is right out here, you'll see a music yes to. Miss Patterson has teachers, some music related questions, and now she's having students guess who the teachers are. Also, March is Art in Our Schools Month. In the main showcase by the office, when you walk in, you would have seen current student artworks from the elementary and the middle school. So please stop and look at that on your way out. Also, many of you probably remember in 2017, Mrs. Dansville had the empty bowls dinner. She had 30 pottery bowls left over of bowls that the students had prepared or made. So, and we donated those to the Empty Bowls fundraiser in Indians. The donated bowls were received with much gratitude. I'd like to say thank you once again to the PTO. They sponsored a very fun penny war this last week, and that was in group 8. Thanks to Mrs. Delosh and Mrs. Barton. They were in charge of our PBIS activities this month. The kids had a great time, so I'd like to shout out to them. This week we're celebrating Read Across America Week with Dr. Seuss themed activities. And last but not least, I would like to say thank you to Hope Fire Company. They came in earlier in the year to do fire prevention. However, our preschool couldn't attend that day. So they actually came in another day, brought the fire trucks, did fire prevention just for our preschool. So I'd like to say thank you to Hope Fire Company for doing that. Thank you, that's everything.
Okay, middle school.
Hello, I'll speak of the February students of the month also and congratulate our 5th grade student Tucker Schrift, our 6th grade student Liza Bourne, 7th grade, our student of the month was Colton Brawley, and in 8th grade, Gio Torino. So congratulations to those students. We have another thing to celebrate. In February, 3 of our middle school students were recognized out of the Cavaltric Center during the large basketball game that they had out at IUP as TSA champions. So those students were Maya Friedman, Ava Kirsch, and Emmy McCaffrey, and that was really neat to be out there with them. We truly enjoyed that evening. Speaking of our TSA students, right now they have asked to hold a box cereal drive, which started Monday. So it is only Tuesday, it feels like a week ago. It started yesterday, but that's going to be benefiting our local food pantry. They are required to do a community service project as part of their state competition for their attendance there. So that is what they chose to do for that. The goal is that they're going to be collecting these boxes of cereal, setting up an obstacle through the building, and then having one lucky student get to knock it over. So I think that I'm basically doing that. Well, with that, oh, I thought somebody asked me something. Sorry. For our PBIS, we just had our Marianas fundraiser hoagie sale that we spoke of last month. That concluded today. We raised $456, which was very exciting because we didn't have a whole lot of participation, but for what we had, I was very pleased with that. The PBIS program does really rely on some funds to help with rewards in the school. Last month, our students were rewarded for competing in a survivor challenge. And part of the challenge was to swim in the swimming pool. The kids absolutely loved that, and gift cards to shoot to one by the winning teams. Officer Greenfield from Indian State Police visited the high school and middle school last week to talk about cyberbullying. And I wish I didn't have to say this, but cyberbullying and cell phone issues suck up a lot of my day. So that program is greatly appreciated by me. Hopefully the students took something from it and they learned a little bit, but I was very glad to have Officer Greenfield here to remind students of cyber safety and correct cell phone use. even if they're not supposed to be using their phones in school. Cell phone issues, like I said, take a lot of our time. And finally, March is Middle Level Education Month, so one of the things that we're doing is each week on the announcements, we will be sharing a fun fact about what it is like to be a middle school student and a middle school teacher. So just to kind of, bring that to the forefront of everybody's mind. Thank you.
And high school.
Hello, everyone. Our students of the month for February, 12th grade, Olivia Yonner, 11th grade, Damian Searle, 10th grade, Jabari Hunt, and 9th grade, Thomas Costello. Our Kid Win team won the regional event at Penn State Altoona and will now move on to competition on March 27th at Penn State University for the Kid Win State competition. Penn State Engineering Ambassadors did demonstrations and lessons in 3 of our classrooms, which climbed Mr. Wenderoff and Mr. Fairbaugh, doing the topics of roller coasters, wind turbines, and airfoils. Triangle Tech and Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics visited with tech ed classes to explain post-secondary opportunities in technical schools. On Monday, March 11th, NCHS will be hosting the Heritage Conference Impromptu Speech Competition. We will be hosting 9 Heritage Conference school teams and advisors, each composed of a speaker from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. In total, there will be 40 students competing. Rachel Faribaugh, Julia Vittori, Bradley Offner, and Logan Heath will be representing the team for NCHS. And other teams will be visiting various schools across the Heritage Conference, competing in science, math, current events, robotics. I'm probably missing something, but they're all over the place next week, competing in academics, not just athletics like we normally do. We'll be offering SATs at the high school on Thursday, March 7th. We've been working hard on next year's schedule and course catalog with Mrs. Tenerovich and with Dr. Pisani. We're making some changes, adding AP biology, increasing the AP courses we offer, and some courses needed for the 8th program from Penn Highlands, where students will be able to earn an associate's degree in high school. On February 7th, our AP government class, under the direction of Kylie Dillon, held an AI presentation, which is artificial intelligence, in our auditorium for our freshman civics classes. Information was shared and the freshman students were given assignments to delve into the AI topic. On February 9th, we had students also honored at the KCAC in Indiana. The academic awards were given to seniors Ella Miller and Mike Kaminsky. Our Powering Pittsburgh team was also honored alongside the middle school national champions for the TSA Solar Sprint. Triangle Tech came in to work with students in Mr. Klein and Mr. Weinroth's classes on February 21st. We also met with Ameriserve Financial, who is going to sponsor us with Bonsai, an online financial literacy and internet safety program next school year. And we're sampling some of the materials this school year with Mrs. Toy and Mr. Chunkin. We met with representatives from Franklin and Marshall to discuss career counseling program at the high school. Our boys basketball team made it to the D6 championship game on Thursday, February 29th. We lost, unfortunately, to West Branch, but we kept a team who averages 76 points a game to 58 points. That's a win in my book. They moved to state playoffs this Saturday, March 9th at 3 p.m. and we are playing at Cambria Heights, and we thank them for hosting us. We had to look around a little bit to find a school that could hold us up. Again, Officer Cliff Greenfield, that Mr. Gibbons mentioned, from the Indiana State Police, met with students in grades 9 to 12 and also from 5 to 8 in her building to discuss cyber safety issues on February 27th. He did not come last year, but he was there the year before, so it's been kind of an every other year kind of thing, but absolutely the topic that is necessary for our students is cyber safety. Our National Honor Society induction was held on Wednesday, February 27th. We inducted 10 new members into our National Honor Society, and these students have worked very hard to obtain this high honor at the high school. We now have a total of 20 members of National Honor Society students. Mrs. Hudak coordinated an OBR presentation for our students who might benefit from the program. OBR is through the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, and it provides individualized services to assist people with disabilities to pursue, obtain, and maintain satisfactory employment. They even assist with tools and training. Physicals were held this week and track began yesterday with softball. Third marking period will be ending on March 20. And we're going to be heading into October. Thank you.
Business manager.
He's on his way to the PASBO conference, but if you have any questions, he is available via phone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, Captain.
Okay, for the month of March, just some things that we're going to be having with our students. Yesterday we celebrated, Dr. Seuss with green eggs and ham at the elementary, school with our students. We had a couple prizes for the kids. We drew names out of a hat. Kids got to pick up their prizes today. Next week, we'll be having our pasta bar, on March 11th, during our Heritage, Day at the high school. So the high school students will have a pasta bar. March 14th, Pride Day, we'll be celebrating with pizza pies at the middle school.
Air.
So that's.
He's going to the air.
Participating in. And then Easter
Thank
dinner
you.
will be on
Thank you.
20th.
Yeah.
Actually, commodities for, government turkey, so we'll be doing a parking bar at school with them. And the biggest thing that has happened, within the past 2 weeks is that the cafeteria department has received a grant for $9,027.99 to increase our breakfast program and expand on that and increase participation. So I'm very excited. Next week I attend a webinar to find out more information on this one. And that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maintenance supervisor.
I don't have much, just an update on the coal boiler down at the elementary middle school. It's still down. They were weeks ago, they put a new push rod in it. They brought a brand new motor out. The motor was dead. It did not function. So I'm still waiting on that. Someone said about the first day of track build's pretty much almost done. It's 90% there. And, family consumer science room, they should be happy. They should have all their new equipment installed by the end of tonight. About it besides, whatever the board decides on softball, baseball. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to do a report now?
Just a couple of things.
Superintendent.
So, Andrew Zwally from Site Logic will be here next week to talk about grants for our building project. And next week or our next meeting, we'll have tours for board members after the meeting. The rest I'll discuss in executive session.
Well, do you know what day he'll be here?
He'll be here the day of the meeting.
Oh.
Yes, day of the meeting, the 19th. So I guess it's not next week, it's in 2 weeks. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll be going in executive session right now. There are a few items that we'll have to vote on that we need to discuss in there. So here's all the board, here's all the Board of Education will enter an executive session at 6:42 p.m. to discuss litigation, contract students and personnel. I'll make that motion. So Mr. Jerry Krimenacher. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You're welcome.
I'll get on that, but I can't get that down.